Elise is going to be our first reader for tonight.
And now half the poem. This is literally the only poem I have that involves a prop.
Does it have to be on or?
I never knew the name James West. But I stand adjusting his legacy at least twice a week. Today he's in his 90s, an esteemed professor at Johns Hopkins, but as for his greatest contribution to mankind, the answer was always literally in front of my face. He invented the microphone. More specifically, with Jahar Seisler, he perfected Emil Berliner's original patent. Today, his electric condenser capsules are found in microphones throughout the world, including those in cell phones and the headsets astronauts use to communicate with NASA. Make no mistake, this is a weapon. Like Excalibur or the staff of Moses parting crowds like the Red Sea, it can be used to unite nations or level cities. Whether you're a hip-hop, metal, or lounge act creating bullets, buzzsaws, or butterflies, it can rally troops, rock block parties, or incite riots. It can bring world leaders to their knees. MCs tattoo her image across their biceps in devotion to their one true love. Mwah. The sound of their own voice. I want to set fire to the mic. Now, all I need is why would the prescription is a hypertone when I fiend for a microphone. Like I was trying to cash it. I was trying to cash his microphone. Check 212. They say that we kiss our partners on the mouth to fulfill a biological desire to share one another's breath. Lover, I want to inhale your lightning. Taste the crackle upon my tongue so that I may breathe back volumes of thunder. Some don't know how to handle it properly. I say, like any partner, she'll only bombard you with feedback so long as you learn to give her space. How easy it is to take convenience for granted. Microwaves, toasters, spark plugs, our homes are littered with quiet legacies. James, forgive me if I ever seemed unappreciative. In front of your gift, I am the personification of the First Amendment. I found your name researching for Black History Month. Maya Angelou, Tupac. I can't think of a single black icon of the last 50 years who hasn't once stood before your genius. Did you swell with pride when Obama took the stage that night in Chicago? Do you laugh at the auctioneer's cadence or when the intercom announces that a cleanup was needed at all 5? Did you appreciate the irony when they welcomed you to that humble podium to accept your induction into the Inventors Hall of Fame? Do you cringe when pundits bark racism and hate speech? When rappers use her to preach violence and degrade women? If it was up to me, every poet, singer, comedian, open mic host, news anchor, priest, and politician would owe you a royalty check. Truth is, whether a clip-on or a bullhorn, we are all forms of motivational speakers. So ask yourself, are you uplifting the greater consciousness or pandering to an audience? How dare you pervert such opportunity? Too many good souls have died for less than the chance to say what's on their mind. Are you broadcasting anthems or just spewing empty static? Make no mistake, this is a tool, a weapon, a magic wand, and you who would champion evil, all your cannons, your bombs, your gunfire cannot drown out the echo in this voice, 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 this voice. Friends, Romans, adversaries, all come. Lay down your arms. I already have my weapon of choice. Literally the only poem I need a prop for. This is called Ode to Spanish Moss, which is neither Spanish nor a moss nor a lichen, but an air plant, so I'm told. Member of the bromeliad family, relative to the pineapple called grandfather's beard in Australia. Reportedly, bundles for stuffed pillows and cushions for Civil War soldiers in the eras before goose down. For centuries from elder cypress, your curtains cloak shadow over the watchful eyes of alligators. Your presence captures Southern Gothic as an overall mood, ubiquitous to the point of being ignored. You remind me that plants too are living things. The grass we step on bleeds when cut. Flowers still scream when we pluck them. The unmoved oak cursed to wear the brand of lover's initials as its undesired tattoo. There I was, Stuck behind a red light at the intersection of Bumby and Curry Ford, witness to the erratic behavior in yonder parking lot, the 7-Eleven across the street flickers at the onset of dusk. At first, I thought it might be an animal. But upon squinting, leaning forward over the steering wheel for a better look, I realized it was too round, but also too shapeless. Wait, there's no tumbleweeds in Florida. It was you. An amorphous tangle upon the ground, animated by the October wind, a plume made of static, a rogue scarf, disheveled bird's nest carved out of gelatin, a batch of zombie noodles freed, fresh from their pack of ramen, an amoeba crawling on dry land, pacing concrete out front of the convenience shop window like the ghost of a stray cat. I watched you dance upon the breeze like a plastic bag or a wild toupee, Frankensteined by lightning. This is how I imagine you. As swarms of jellyfish descending from trees at night, a hive mind in search of prey, somewhere between the blob and the day of the Triffids, tidal waves of steel wool, oil spill across the abandoned plaza, swallowing up livestock and houses, herds of deer and car alarms alike bellow helplessly, antlers and power lines constricted within the flash floods of ivy from the shelter of branches at daytime, you chameleon-tongued songbirds stuck mid-flight as an easy meal, all hail the night of the bromeliads. The endless horror of possibility. Release the bracken. The greenhouse is no longer a cage. Behold, revenge of the collapsing canopy. The threat of thorns sharper than the chainsaw's teeth. Bones and metal logging mechanisms, both crushed, cracked and crunching between a fist of merciless vine. Payback for global warming. Remind us that the roots still strangle, that the jungle has no need for forgiveness. This is how you humble me. By reminding me the leaves are always watching, the mythic eons of fossil bark, how at that moment I saw you, at last, as you always were, not silent, but waiting, sentient and flourishing, galloping ballet amongst final shreds of the dying sunlight, ageless, hungry, and most importantly, alive. You were alive. Alive as you always were. As you always are. And I'll end on this one. The only context to this poem is that I wrote it to battle depression during the pandemic. So this is 2 years old. But I promised Lauren a soca poem. Soca, for the uninitiated, is a genre of dance music that originated in Trinidad and Tobago. It's most commonly associated with Carnival, what those above the Caribbean might call Mardi Gras. Started in the 1970s, it's since evolved and branched off into numerous offshoots, including Power Soca, in which one of the slower songs might carry a tempo of 150 beats per minute. This music feels like pouring a can of Red Bull in your ear. Imagine if Jerk Chicken had a soundtrack. Picture Sonic the Hedgehog trapped inside a pinball machine so fast that time signatures are irrational numbers. You don't clap on the 2 and the 4, you clap on pi. I am trading song recommendations through Facebook with my friend Morgan, who happens to be a black woman. When I introduce her to Death Cab for Cutie, she says, God, white people depression is on a whole other level. To which I type back, if you think Death Cab is depressing, wait till you discover Elliott Smith. And I'm not one to cast assumptions, I'm just saying maybe Elliott Smith wouldn't have committed suicide by stabbing himself twice in the chest if he had been a soca artist. Give me a music that comes with feathers, headdresses, not like white girls at Coachella, something that sounds like flocks of macaws flying out the speakers, group choreography, steel pan orchestra, audience participation, call and response. I'm sorry, air horns will always be cooler than poetry slaps. Miss me with the talk of breweries and indie rock bands. I don't care about your favorite IPA. You're not even allowed to listen to soca unless you're a rum drinker. The government of Trinidad will arrest you in the street, flog your back with nightsticks if you dare get caught in public without a red Solo cup in hand. Ode to the drums which echo our pulse. Ode to the sun under which we now gather. Don't trust the musical taste of someone you've never seen laugh or smile. Someone who acts too hard or too cool for the room. Emma Goldman said, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution. Don't trust anyone who claims that music sucks nowadays when all they do is listen to radio. Curiosity is a discipline. It's your responsibility to investigate all the options this world has to offer. That's like saying there's no decent food available because you pick up all your meals at the drive-thru. If you don't like the menu, it's up to you to go find a better restaurant. Don't trust anyone who underestimates the power of accordion, ode to Zydeco, ode to banda, ode to obscure instruments, to washboard and timpani, ode to the cajon and tabla, ode to bucket percussion flooding the nervous system of subway tunnels, banging on pots and pans, lunchroom ciphers, campfire sing-alongs with acoustic guitar. You can't find a worthy FM station. Look for the old dude in a cowboy hat, the one sitting on the porch, in a rocking chair, in New Orleans, El Paso, under the streetlight in the Bronx, the one with grandchildren on his knee. He will show you where the music is. He will chant you up spirits, rhyme you up a proper saga. There are sisters singing in the kitchen, mothers and sons belting out hymns in accented languages over the stove. Ever notice how the first one to complain about how much music sucks nowadays is the last person you'd invite to a block party or powwow? There is a metal band called the One and Only People Mover. They play dressed up in costume as Yetis. There is an all-female surf rock group from Toronto called the Surfragettes, whose repertoire includes an instrumental cover of Toxic by Britney Spears. My hometown of Orlando hosts a band called American Party Machine. Their best song is a tribute to Ric Flair. Ode to novelty acts and subgenres, to regional icons who may never get signed. Everyone needs a gimmick. There is a 70-year-old homeless rapper living in Bogota, Colombia, who goes by the name Toothless Cindy. She freestyles on the bus for tips from strangers. Sacred Steel is a form of gospel music that came out of Pentecostal churches in the 1930s. It features Hawaiian pedal steel guitar as lead instrument, ode to hometown heroes, ode to festivals and battles of the bands, open mics and dive bars, ode to local venues, ode to Chuck Brown and Go-Go, to surf rock and hyphy, to the Neville Brothers and New Orleans bounce, G-funk and down south crunk, grime, UK garage, mariachi, jazz in all its forms, and soca is a portmanteau, the soul of Calypso. Calypso was goddess of the sea, of love, of beauty and seduction, an island nymph, so let me be seduced. It's time for an upgrade. After 3 hours falling down the rabbit hole of music videos on YouTube, I'm certain I want a soca mega mix played at my funeral. Nessa Preppy to deliver the eulogy, crying her eyes out as she informs the congregation that I was the best lover she ever had. In another universe, Nyla Blackman joins her to record a duet in my honor and memory that has already skyrocketed to the top of the charts. I'm trying not to over-intellectualize here. Not today. I'm not trying to analyze lyrics. I don't want to find myself in yet another dead-end online combo arguing with old heads, gatekeeper elitists about whether J. Cole is better than Kendrick, or if it's okay to have a ghostwriter, or if Tupac could out-rap Biggie. Thank you very much. I'd rather not debate the value and or relevancy that Baby Got Back has to hip-hop against Nas's NY State of Mind. I don't care if Hamilton is historically inaccurate, or if Little John and Drake are both secretly geniuses. I don't care what MC or guitar player you think is over or underrated. Guys, cut the bullshit and dance already. If critics knew how to dance and have fun, they'd be musicians. Don't trust the musician who doesn't dance. Why waste your breath hating on auto-tune or mumble rap when you could just as well devote more time investigating artists you actually like? Music's meant to feel like freedom. Quit acting like you're above everyone else just because you use a vinyl collection as crutch for personal nostalgia. If I wanted deep, I'd go listen to Bob Dylan. No one's shaking their ass forming step routines to Tom Waits. Hot tip for all you producers out there, drumline samples are always a good idea. Marching band samples are always a good idea. Everyone say marching bands are always a good idea. Marching bands are always a good idea. I don't have anything against whiny, wrist-cutter, emo breakup ballads. It's just that today, after 9 months on lockdown, I want to move. I need to get over stagnation and depression and binging Tiger King and Queen's Gambit and get back in my body. Time to get up and get out of bed. And maybe I'm too much of an introvert to actually enjoy clubbing or crowds. Maybe I won't start twerking and duddy whining on the next parade float the second the world decides to go back outdoors. But for now, alone in my house, who knows how many months away from attending the next concert, I am the belle of the ball. I am emperor of the parade. I am the best damn entertainer on this stage, even if the stage is the bathroom mirror. Outside, the world is heartbreak. Inside, it's snowstorms, a pink and green confetti. I am the best singer in my shower. Alexa, play soca music.
Thank you so much for that. So much of it was so true. Okay, so our next performer is one of Timucua's volunteers, and she's doing something very, very different. So if Joanna will join us on the stage, it's going to be a nice surprise.
Loving that jacket.
Thank you so much. I am so glad to be here tonight. This is my first open mic since the beatnik days, the 50s, for me. My name is Ruby Wilson. I was born July 22nd, 1936 in Manning, South Carolina. I'm the knee baby, the baby girl, number 9 out of 10. And once I went to my first picture show, I knew exactly what I wanted to be and do. I'm gonna be the first Black Shirley Temple. Yes, I wanna sing, I wanna dance. I wanna be alive and hang out with all those cool people. Now, things didn't quite turn out that way, did they? No. I was told, you see, that's not for you. You can't be the next Negro Shirley Temple. We're a hard-working, dignified, educated, God-fearing family. And show business is not for you. You have to bring honor to your family and stand up for what is right. Don't even think about being a showgirl. They're all sluts. I was made sure, my family made sure that they poured me into a lovely mold so that I can become the lovely young lady they always wanted me to be. As I said, I was born in Manning, South Carolina, but I don't have an accent. That's because I went up north to New Jersey to the finishing school for Negroes with my big sister in New Jersey, right across the river from New York City, with the Apollo Theater in Harlem and Broadway. I got closer and closer to my dream. I was ready to step out onto the scene. But of course, I was talked out of it and went to nursing school. I was proud of that, hurrying and taking care of patients in the wards, and in my spare time, I would volunteer at the orphanages. I loved those children, and I called them precious gems. I've always related to gems. I'm Ruby. I was named after one. Of course, Ruby is the gemstone for the month of July. But my mama said she named me after Proverbs 31 in the good book, where it said a good woman was more precious than rubies. You see, I didn't get married like all my friends did. All those handsome guys after the war in their uniforms, having their GI Bills and a little cash, trying to pick up the ladies. I was too cool for that. I wanted more. I couldn't put my finger on it. But by the time I was 30, no more old maid, I found him. I found the one. And it was going to be beautiful. I was ready to have some babies. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I'm not sure exactly what it was. The doctor said I was fine. And so another decade went by, trying to have the babies. They never came. Dealing with a man that had a wonderful reputation in the community, but at home, he was a drunk. Every time I made a step forward, maybe I could do a little something with the band. Maybe I could do a little writing. Maybe I could do a little community theater, something, somewhere, somehow. It just didn't work out. Here I am, can't have a baby. I've got to worry about the man of my dreams who turned into my worst nightmare, and I never did get to be who I really want to be. Here it is, 1986. I have a story to tell, and I'm going to share a little piece of it with you. But what I was able to do was adopt a couple of these precious gems and put my energy, my passion, my love into the next generation. But you know what? Starting tonight, I'm doing a little something for me, okay? So I'm gonna sing a song for you. It's dedicated to my precious gems. And I hope that you'll take the time to open your heart to a child in need. And here I am in 1986. I'm 50 years old, and this is my first step into show business. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I lived as I believed. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me.
Point. That was amazing. Thank you. And thanks for being such an awesome volunteer. All right, next up we will have Hilda. I'm glad you made it. You're the first person here.
Yes.
That's a hard act to follow. That's beautiful. Thank you. How is everyone? Good. It's my first time here, okay? Yes. So bear with me. If I stammer a little bit, it's okay. It's me. It's fine. This piece was inspired by my grandson, my youngest. And we were at the beach, and he came up to me. He was very little. He came up to me with a plastic bottle and garbage from the sea. So he was asking me why people do that. And I tried to explain to him. Sometimes people don't think before they do things. So that inspired me when I went home. So I wrote this little piece, and I call it Tears. And it goes like this: plastic bottles thrown about, garbage submerged in the sea. Why can't we see what's good for us, for you and me? Beaches with mammals from the sea unable to breathe from the toxic siege. Air quality so bad, you can't see how beautiful the sky is. Frozen mountain caps escaping from the top, no longer freezing but going to the ocean that overflows. Distant noise of bombs hitting the earth, creating craters that shouldn't be. Constant cries of people everywhere, praying to the God they never see. Rain comes down, they say, unbeknownst to them, are tears of sadness from children that see it all. Their fear in their eyes, yearning for explanation, protection. Would it come?
So next we have Maddie. Just remember, when you're standing right where you can't see, you're in the right spot.
And don't use the microphone.
Never again.
Never again.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I can't see, so I think we're in a good spot. Good. The moment I just got up here, I was like, what am I doing up here? And I signed up for this when I had had some wine, but then I knew that I had to follow through and be here, so I'm here. I haven't done a spoken word piece in probably about 4 years. The last time I did it was when Dandelion was thriving. And yeah, so this is, although it's not new for me, it feels really new for me right now because it's been a really long time. This piece started being written like 6 months ago and I finished it last night. So I don't know what you're gonna get, but okay. This poem is called Sheet Music on Fire, Lit by Gas, Inspired by Sleep. And I'm gonna read it off my iPhone. So. In this dream that I have of you, everything is stripped down. Everything is like a stripped down version of a song simplified. I was wondering if in this dream you could be not lying. So in this dream that I have of you, I'm sitting at the piano. Well, let me explain to those that are listening, because lying is the best art that you do, and if you get your hands on them, I'm afraid they might believe you too. So I'll tell it like I felt it when you said it. It was like playing on my weakness, like strumming delicately, harp strings. You were the best instrumentalist that I knew. Harping on every note I made like a curated piece of sheet music. You were nitpicking, you were string picking and embellishing sound. Returning harmonies back to melodies when you were lost, so I'd sing back until you were found. You stroked fingertips over ebony and ivory, knowing if you keyed me up right, I'd stick around. Depressing the keys, desperate to strike a chord with me, and I wonder if maybe if I sang the right tune, you'd have left me be, but everything I belted out was off key. And so I want to tell this story right, but if I told it the way I saw it, it wouldn't be the truth anymore, would it? Because, well, if you say that it wasn't, it probably isn't, is it? So I followed your words down alleyways, robbed blind of my integrity, of my reality. I followed mannerisms, eye movements, footsteps shadowed, and created from everyone else's movements but your own. You're just an accumulated reflection of everyone else's introspection but your own. Just a reflector of diction, couldn't separate fact from fiction, and I followed you. down dark alleyways where I forgot how to read sheet music and I forgot what it felt like to put fingers down into ebony and ivory. I forgot what it meant to play my piece. I wanted to play the music again, but you were the designer of sound and production and notes placed on my piece's introduction. In this dream that I have of you, I'm sitting at the piano, and you are in control of the rhythm. Because if you say that's what I played, then that's the music that I made, wasn't it? Thank you.
So much. Hi, everyone. Hey. Hi. So, my name is Nadia Garzon. I'm the founder and executive director of Descolonizarte Teatro. I know it's a mouthful. It's in Spanish, and I know you can learn how to say it, just like you learn how to say words in German, and you know it, and in Russian too. So you can definitely do this one in Spanish. Descolonizarte Teatro. And we're a professional Latinx theater organization working at the intersection of Latinx, immigrant, and LGBTQ+, and I'm also the wordplay chair here at Timucua. So it's very, very exciting for me to be here and to be able to co-host this with Lauren every month for this year. It's been amazing. So we're very excited to see you all here. So thank you so much for being here. So I'm gonna introduce our next poets, and I have Nova. No? Yes.
Hey. This is my second time here. I love it. I'm from New Jersey, so it's even though it's my second time, I'm still really nervous. But this one is called Consuming Love. Your love is like the sun, and I am a withered flower. I have lost the life of my roots. I've lost track of days and hours. Your love is like the sun, and I am a withered flower. I was showered in vanity, perfection, and pride, opposing correction. Adversaries up ahead run and hide, afraid and so shy, quiet and so timid. Grass fields of flowers, I'd sit and become high as I feed off of lethal desires. No boundaries, no limits, only the limits my mind can create. Fall on my back, I can face the sky. Moving faster than I can say, wait, stop, I'm dizzy. Stop this roller coaster emotion. Stop this ride. I'm high, I'm up. I can almost touch the sky. And then it drops. I feel my stomach in my throat. The hair on my neck rise. I try to talk, I choke. Breathe. Your love is like the sun, and I am a withered flower. Temporary contentment, now I carry resentment, planted in the same soil of disappointment. Where my ancestors once grew, I joined them. The world was our garden keeper, and we were beautiful creatures, attractions and attention from different people. Blinded, love, lustful needs, kissing evil, planting seeds. With each kiss and each touch, a piece of us died. Our souls weary cried out for help. But who? Books, psychics, intoxicating sidekicks, medicated prescriptions promising to fight it? Depression. Bloodline of beautiful creatures shattered by oppression. Ancestry, immorality, weeping nights filled with questions. Why am I here on this earth full of cold tears? Freeze. Ice, cold, soul, numb to the core, I scream, no more mental prisons, break down these doors. Anger, rage, razor to the vein, blood seeps out, physical pain drowns out internal wounds. Kill the pain, painkillers, just one, just two, okay, 15. Blurred vision, roller coaster, drop. I'm so broken. please mend me. Your love is like the sun, and I am a withered flower. The blood you shed for me on a cross, a king who came to heal the hurting and the lost, nails piercing your skin for our sin. Open up our hearts to you, you make us kin, a part of your royalty, your compassion, your loyalty, though we didn't deserve it. Your perfect love is grand, like fire to the eye. I cannot observe it. Flaming love within me, I will not reserve it. In my lowest moments, you made me new. My weaknesses and flaws are all beauty to you. Your light illuminates me to the darkest parts of my soul, like the sun lights the earth. Your burning love makes me whole. Your love is like the sun, and I am a withered flower. Thank you.
We're here to express ourselves and talk about the things that we want to talk about. And mental health has a lot of stigma, right? It's very difficult for us to say, I'm having mental health issues, right? Anxiety, depression, but we know that we have them. And, especially since the pandemic, I know more people are suffering from that. And even though the pandemic is technically over, we're still carrying a lot of that. So thank you for opening up and sharing that with us. All right, next we have Anthony. Awesome.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. As she said, my name is Anthony Collins. I've become a regular here. So I'm glad to be here. It's always a great joy, and it's always awesome just to hear people share their words, their hearts, their soul, their truth, their authentic selves. So that's always a great experience for me, and I thank you guys for hosting this. It's opened, my heart up again, I guess you can say, to poetry in a way that I hadn't done in a while. So a little bit about me. I've been writing poetry since I was 5 years old. The way that happened is that I had a kindergarten teacher who was creative enough to come up with an assignment where he had to write a poetry book. And I did it. And ever since then, I've been writing. I've had my, times where I stopped, said, forget this, I'm done. But I've always come back to it. It's always been something that's very important to me, as I'm sure many of you, it has been the same thing for you all. And it's always carried me through the hard times and kind of helped me work through things. So, all right, that's enough about me. I've got a few poems for you tonight. The first is called Ifs and Maybes. This is really about, there's so much negative stuff going on in the world, and just hoping that one day we actually get to a point where it's not so negative. Long shot, but we're gonna keep hoping, So, anyway, Ifs and Maybes. I hear souls like lullabies leave melodies after bodies decay and depart. If so, maybe one day worlds of this world will be humane to other worlds for humanity's sake, and maybe wine poured in glasses will replace blood spilled from carcasses as medium for winning wars. Then maybe daisies will always spring, blossoms that never fall, wilted in winter, nor burn in summer, and maybe, just maybe, the lullaby souls leave will harmonize hope in the hopeless, like lyrics and musical notes, if we hear their piece, maybe. All right, let's see. So I actually read this one the last time I was here. I'm gonna read it again. This is about a jury duty experience. So jury duty, you go through this whole process of like ask you a ton of questions, and essentially what they're trying to figure out is if you're gonna be a good juror or not for the basis of whatever case it is, right? And they call this process voir dire. Ironically enough, they call that the translation of that word from Latin to English means to speak truth. And so I guess through going through this process, at some point in time, this judge was asking me these questions, and attorneys were asking me these questions, And I realized, like, hold on a second. They're asking me questions about, crime and like people going to prison. Does that affect you? How do you feel about the justice system and all that? I'm like, I never really thought about it. And I was like, nah, you're not, I don't like it. So it's really talking about that. And just to kind of give more background on that piece, I've had like multiple people around me go to prison, for whatever reasons. It could be for the smallest things sometimes, just keeps happening, I guess. I never really processed that trauma behind that. So, but this is where that came from. Void Dyer. Question. Will your experience with the legal system prevent you from being unbiased? White noise shushes attorneys, huddling at the judge's bench. As a kid, I changed the TV to off-air channel 36. Static smothered snarls, boogeymen rattling burglar bars, white noise. TV screen flashes white over black, lighthouse collage flickering SOS, silencing the noise of silence, white noise. Thick soul of white, 95 Air Max grinds pulverized concrete and grit. Banana tree leaves scrape like nails, etching sawgrass glades into walls of the cement cell. Cell phone chimes. I press red X, silent. 97 Civic hums. X spells exhaust diaphanous like an apparition, white noise. F and I lean on it. Backs facing the house painted peach. F says he's leaving on vacation, 13 months in the Everglades. Ain't nothing I say. Not mulling the 393 days, 393 pieces, shrapnel that cuts cavities in my chest. I sip jungle juice. Watch water sluice and pothole a wound. Pigeons cool, white noise. Pigeons cool. We paint Granny's gray lanai maroon, first time painting. I wear a polo and khaki kindergarten uni. F schools me on life. Passing car backfires, mute silence. White noise is muted, silence. The judge refocuses spectacles. Forceps and scalpel dredging shrapnel that severs nerves. He digs. Can you be unbiased? I grimace. Shrapnel shifts. Banana leaves scrape like titanium nail scratching cement, like a cranium, like white noise. I wince. White noise wanes. Anesthesia wearing off, like forceps silence, grips, pulls, twists my sciatic. Suturing needle pricks, silence. Judge, can you be unbiased? Answer, I'm still healing. And Lauren, you said I could keep going, so I'm gonna keep going. And even just to give you more background on my writing, I made a choice at some point in time, I don't remember when exactly, but I don't include names. You'll see it when I say something like F, L, B. The reason why I don't, it's not necessarily because I want to keep people's names hidden, because if I wanted to do that, I could just change the name, but it's a show of reverence. So, funny story, I took a class on religion, and they said that the name of God could not be uttered. It's merely represented by a symbol. Now, I'm not saying that anybody needs to believe in God or whatever, but I think there was a lesson in that, and the lesson is that I cannot utter these people's names because I revere them so much. So that's why you hear that, and I plan on continuing to do that. All right, next poem. Let's see. We go. I'll save the new one for last. All right. So this next poem is actually inspired by Kendrick Lamar, his last album. If you haven't listened to it, if you don't know much about it, it really deals a lot with trauma. He talks about everything from like going through trauma, through healing from trauma and inflicting trauma on others. I think it's a really good like take on just how trauma is just kind of ingrained in our society and how we come to ignore it, especially with like black people. We really don't acknowledge it. So, and I think him putting that out there was very important. It was something we need to talk about. So I just wrote a piece in dedication to that. This one's called The Flame That Lit My First Cigarette. I clutch vices tight to my chest, like P tucked Salem lights into breast pockets, 2 packs. Mazda brakes shriek into the driveway. Headlights illuminate the door's frame, splintering like hopes for sitcoms in a sofa's embrace. Thieves stole the TVs this time. Cops jotted notes, shrug like always. P plunges into shadows. Smokes 46 on the porch. Tips glow. Smoldering fireflies floating in the abyss. Fire fading. P's heavy soul extinguishes on pavement. I lie in bed, quiver myself to sleep for my nightly nightmare. Jason Voorhees grips a screwdriver, pries at windows, eyes machete bed sheets used as draperies. I hide a kitchen knife under my pillow. Can't exercise Jason pacing my dreams. Never again. A robber, weeks later, yanks the brass doorknob while P toils night shift. I don't flinch. Point P's pistol like T firing at cane fields. I level the barrel. Jason, he sees me in the window pane, turns human, leaves. I sit, sniffle back whimpers on the porch, inhale my first puff. I won't weep. Sky shatters, tap dances on eaves. And now I've taken you all to the dark side, with all my sad poems. I've decided I've created one that's really about my childhood. I grew up in Miami, Florida, typical Miami, Florida neighborhood, It's very, believe it or not, neighborhood-oriented family, almost like a family. And you kind of do things that become almost like tradition. And one of the things I used to do when I was a child that I remember that I appreciate very much is going up to this corner store to get like a juice on Saturdays with my dad. So this poem was about that. Just talking about some of the people I encountered and stuff like that. So anyway, it's called Silver Nickels. I shake 2 silver nickels in my palm. I lay the pair on the butcher block counter to pay for the... All right, let's start over. Sorry about that. I shake 2 silver nickels in my palm. I lay the pair on the butcher block counter to pay for 2 grenade juices at the Blue Corner store. P and I stroll the unpaved path along Carver Drive, flattened by shoes hard as the grit that remains. P waves deuces to L washing a Corolla at his car wash. He lifts his chin, chucks deuces back. L's golden grin gleams. He's been P's pal since sophomores at Killian High. The store. A finch flies through doors, sliding open and groaning like Kay mumbling and mopping linoleum floors. Marlboro trucker captors pull low as Barry's baritone. Boombox. Barry white bellows. White cap butchers bob and groove, wrapped in sunlight beaming through windows, while wrapping paper over chicken quarters and full racks of ribs. Later this afternoon, meat'll sizzle and smoke on Buick-sized barbecue smokers, aroma billowing up. Distant thunder is God's belly grumbling. Fluorescents flicker. A dim exit sign hangs over a dark and narrow corridor at the end. Light glows between black burglar bars, like fractured ceramic. Black bars contour white light into a blazing butterfly. The monarch's hideaway is buried in blackness. Stacked blue milk crates cradle kaleidoscopes, grenade juice flavors. I grab 2 oranges, one for now, one for later. Now and laters. Tie-dye candy packages stripe the beige racks above. They'll quench thirst for the rainbow I saw on the way. I rub 2 nickels. Nickels too few by 2. P presses 3 nickels to my palm. P smirks and says, grab a blue one too.
All right, okay, Andrew. Last but not least.
It's called Girl Probs. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. Because, oh girl, surely you don't want none of this guy's pissed guys or glare from pierced eyes, much less a bite from his food or french fries. Damn, what's his problem? Well, it's no surprise. A heartthrob whose heart throbs because mom dies at the age of 7 and now resides in some place called heaven while he's left abandoned, then grows up, dates his girl, and years later she dies of cancer too, so maybe you can realize why the fuck he sighs. Lately, I seem to attract flaky girls who either don't show up or don't stick around. Ghost ahead, turn that crown upside down. You missed your chance to properly value this property value, so don't step another foot on my land or turf. It's in development, but I know my worth. Hey, cheer up, could be worse. End up in a hearse from an electric fence with power turned on, incredibly enlightening, reduced to nothing, flee like a dog, so bitch be gone. Can you blame me? For feeling bitter, angry, and lonely when some have told me I can have any woman I want except the one I want because she's dead and gone, so I guess I won't. So long. This heart's in harm. I'm up in arms. I just don't know what the fuck to do but to surrender to the ugly truth, which is I must forgive you. No. You witches better listen up because your attempt to get close to the veins on this forearm is dreadfully in vain, so be forewarned. Make no mistake, you'll set off the alarm flirting with danger and get burned at the stake by the firearm of a lone ranger who's gone near insane from his own pain. So you see, ladies, my aim is noble and true. I must save you and me from me and you. It's protection from connection. Hurt and be hurt. Slaves to knee-jerk reactions. Plus fractures, times fractions, equals, shattered mirrors, hit like asteroids, fragmented pieces. It never ceases. Either we get cut up or actively avoid. But by this point, it's not worth the price to pay. So sorry to say, hon, this transaction's void. Static action. Lack of interaction. What is this magnetic pull attraction that I crave so badly but won't allow myself to have? What on earth did I do in order to feel this fucking sad and be put in a position to attempt to explain the unexplainable feeling that pulls deep from within my core and suffocates me from the inside out until I choke? It's my spirit. It's my soul. Guess that's the price of having been woke. And although I should be stoked, ideally, really, I'm just trying to stay afloat so I can catch a breath and breathe just a little bit more than inconsistently. There is a level of vulnerability that he works really hard at not disclosing to others because lions are terrified of rejection. Their pride, dignity, loyalty, and affection on the line, going unseen, unreceived, or just downright denied. But what good is light with no color from a prism? If resistance to intimacy leaves the desire unfulfilled, then what good is stoicism? So fuck it, I guess come inside and get to know his prison. Locked away in ice is the sound of a little boy's cries who loves his mother so much that his security guards hate her for not being around to mend the heart, broken apart into a million shards stuck inside the densest possible glacier. Apart from the art, he's not showy and out there like most. Instead, secretive, intuitive, behind-the-scenes type of host. Undeniably unacquirable, unfortunately isolating himself from those who actually find him desirable. I dine alone at restaurants, skimming over the menu, ever ready to tear into, fucking despise couples sitting together, staring at their phones instead of into each other's eyes. All because I'm just a hopeless romantic spilling out this passion in an orderly fashion with no one to share it with or along for the ride. An empty seat shows the open road's my bride. As I return to center line, I can see that who I really am is a knight in aligning armor, a broken king with plenty of dents and dings, but surely my queen is out there somewhere, though it's not my mission to conquer, control, and own you, but rather take your hand, lead by ascension, mirror your potential, and throne you. And you'll have to be patient with thee always as I make my way free through the complicated maze and castle hallways I've built all around me. You see, in order for this to be a match with potential to spark fire, leaving a burning desire quenched, she will have to meet these requirements. Right from the start, she must be pure in heart, trusting in that more than what the world has in store. She must be passionate with ambition and drive, a loving, nurturing mother further down the line, a woman who kisses your scars and licks the wounds, not to pacify, change, or conceal them from view, but who accepts and honors them as significant parts of you. And lastly, but not beastly, she must know the pain of darkness, or at least see it's from the depths of black water that the lotus sprouts rising up and out. Otherwise, notice, we will have little or nothing to talk about. I know the situation is not ideal, and it sucks to admit. I'm riddled with angry mistakes, but for fuck's sake, at least give me mad props for admitting I have girl probs and taking the necessary steps of action to correct hate. But don't be startled by the shadowy blocks I've hurdled or the surge of sludge I'm purging. It's just my process of emerging. And all I can do through this shit-eating grin is grit my teeth and admit I'm deeply in love with the divine feminine. So, Your Highness, I look forward to the day we meet and you become a lioness, my partner in crime, a real treat. Together we run the plains, kill it, and share the meat. It's pretty evident that you want me to address the resident residing in a birthday dress provided at the address listed on an open house party, starting with an invitation largely designed to come by and escalate and lift two parties in the most sublime housewarming gift or global warming shift your world has ever seen. So no need to stress over the mess made at the nest. Just relax and receive a celebration of sensations, organic spasms, and don't be surprised when you have them across the dance floor smiling and tremble while blessed by the best abyss of endless worship at the grand door of your mindful temple. And finally, when venturing out, I know you'll feel safe wherever we go because I've sworn to protect you and your heart from dangerous evil. And one of these days, it won't ever show that it came full circle. And you'll never even know that I always start, first and foremost, with my own ego. Thanks.
This project was made possible by our season sponsors, Orange County, United Arts, the State of Florida, ACS, and Orlando Health. Our wonderful board members. We thank our donors and members, as well as our business sponsors. Please thank them for their support for Timucua.